Alright, let's get into this meaty ass review. If you don't like hearing BTS be criticised or anything, don't watch this. It's an album review, just go away, I'm gonna criticise stuff. Now of course the other day I actually uploaded my DNA review, so I won't really be properly reviewing DNA here. I'll be saying a couple of sentences about what I think about it, but if you want to see the full track review to DNA, link will be in the description and at the end of the video, suggest you go watch that. Alright, so the first song on the album is the intro Serendipity, which is sang by Jimin, which is a huge change from most BTS albums. Usually they start with a rap line intro, which I've been enjoying so far. They're a little bit inconsistent, sometimes they're a bit too short. This one, however, is gorgeous. Jimin's vocals are very, very sweet. They're a little bit breathy at some points, but overall it suits the tone. The instrumental is full and smooth, and there's these lovely bassy sounds woven in. It works as an intro, and it actually really signifies a change with BTS's genre picks throughout this whole album. It's a very bizarre, different album. But, you know, 2 minutes, I feel it could be a full song really, you know, 3.5 minutes, because it's good enough. Then of course we have DNA, the title track. In my opinion, weakest song on the album. I know there is a lot of opinions going around about DNA, I'm not a huge fan. The production is very atmospheric and pleasing, but the transitions are so awkward, and there's barely any actual rapping from the rap line. It's so like pointless having them there. The EDM style chorus is actually really dull and underwhelming. V's delivery though is a highlight. I think his voice suits the song a lot, and I love that baritone range that he has, just works so well. I also really enjoyed Hoseok's parts during the song. It's a little experimental for BTS, and it didn't work in my opinion. Then there's Best of Me, the Chainsmokers featured song, and it's not bad. The production on it is nice. It's fairly simple, but I think that's definitely a good idea given who was actually producing it. The vocals on it are boisterous, and it's just a lot of fun actually, to be honest. But they could have done something a bit more exciting, given that it's, you know, on the album. It could be a bit more exciting. It's just a bit bland. And this is a theme that will recur throughout this album. I do feel this is a very bland, boring album. Dimples is the next track. It's a lovey-dovey, cutesy song, and it's just straight up boring. The production is decent, but the instrumental's just so forgettable, and the vocal line does a great job, I have to point that out. Always doing a great job. And the bass is utilised to good effect, and it sounds nice, but overall the song, it leaves so much to be desired. There's it could have been a lot better. The next song is a song that has been talked about so much since the release of that album. This is Pied Piper. This has actually slowly grown on me. The first time I listened to it, I really didn't like it. It's sort of a funky pop-styled song with some grandiose, gorgeous vocals on it. Production is a little over the top at times. I do enjoy the stylized vocals from Jungkook, and the lyrics are well written and fun looking over them. It's just nice. Even though the song feels a little bit soft and dull, it actually has grown on me a lot, and it's very enjoyable. It actually reminds me in some ways of Walian 52. I always mispronounce it, that's why I call it Walian 52. And now, mic drop. Wow. Wow, just wow. It's honestly, this is the best track on the album. It's more hip-hop, R&B based, so much more enjoyable than the rest of the album. The production is simple, it's fun. The vocals on this track are perfect. Just it works really well. The chorus that is just, honestly, the rap line just wrecks this whole song. Shout out to Hoseok, just, oh my lord, you did so well on this song. The influence Seotaji is obviously having the boys for this song, I think, is quite evident in style and tone and delivery. The instrumental is full, bouncy and atmospheric. The drums are very heavy, and it makes the bass line very cohesive and easy listening. This is typical BTS, and this is actually what I had hoped for more on this album, but it's really the only song that I really love on the album. And the next track is Go Go. This is another quality song, actually, to be fair. I don't like it quite as much as Mic Drop, but it is still very good. Once again, it's more hip-hop, R&B based, just like Mic Drop. I really think this is BTS's genre. I like them experimenting, you know, infusing some things, but if it's done well, I enjoy it, but they struggle a little bit when they branch out to the more slow, soft dance pop stuff. The production on this is very simple. The lyrics, wow, just very heavy. I actually really like the theme of the song, which is talking about the importance of money and not to spend it on material possessions, but it is not preachy or anything. It's just generally just talking about society and the way we view things. The vocals on this track are supreme, and yeah, I don't really think I can say much more about this song. And finally we come to the outro. This is alright, it's simple, it's nice, it's an outro. You know, once again, you know, with the intro, I don't understand why it's not just a full song. Why have they got to have an intro and an outro? For me, that there's no cohesion, it doesn't mean much for that album, and they're just doing an intro and outro because they're intros and outros, but they don't do anything for the style or story. And you know, after such a meaty, heavy album like this one, I kind of wanted like a smooth, vocal-based outro track like House of Cards was. This one is just, I'm just not hugely into this style, to be honest, and it's just a little bit too in your face the whole time. So yeah, that's all the songs, or is it? On the digital album there are these songs, but on the physical album there is an extra song called C. Now of course I've bought a physical album, but it's still in the post. That should be arriving at some point in the next week or two, hopefully. C is a great track, but I'm not really counting it towards this album because it's not on the digital album. I don't know why they did it. It's actually kind of irritating that they're doing that, but the production on it is incredibly neat. If a little flat at some points, but the vocal performance is honestly one of the best I've heard on a BTS song in a while. The song is a little bit slow at portions and could do with a heavier bass line, but overall it's nice. So yeah, you can probably sort of feel my vibe for this album. I came into it with a lot of expectations for BTS because of course they dropped Wings last year, which was honestly one of the best albums I've heard in a while, still to this day. So it was such a consistent album, it was so powerful, the songs on it were great. You know, this album, there was a lot of expectation going into it, and they tried something different, and in my opinion it just didn't really work out. And that's not necessarily a criticism towards the boys or anything. I think they honestly did the best they could with the songs they had. The vocal performances were good, and I think they were mainly let down at the production and just the song choices overall. Some of them were just such flat, dull songs. I almost felt this album got overproduced and it got sucked up in its own hype. I definitely think that's partly the fans' fault for building it up so much for the boys, because this is nowhere near the best album of the year. And I see people saying, oh, DNA best song of the year, BTS best artist. It's no, this is not really a good enough album to be even. I'm not sure if it's going to make my top 10. It almost certainly won't make my top 10 by the end of the year. In fact, I think it's probably BTS's weakest project as of yet, and that is saying something because it's by far, you know, it's still a decent album. It's not a bad album. That just goes to show the quality of their discography over the years, that this is their worst album, because it's still good. I wish the rap line were more involved. The vocal line do a great job, and I think the vocals on it were supreme, but the rap line just feel a little bit left out. You know, they have Mic Drop and Go Go, but otherwise they don't really get much work. The album just feels too experimental, and it doesn't pay off in any way, to be honest. And yeah, this album gets a high 5 out of 10 for me. Now that may sound low to you, but that is an average rating. It means it's a decent album, a high 5, if you will. Thank you very much for watching though, I hope you have enjoyed. More reviews to come soon, so I hope you subscribe and stick around. It's going to be Ginno, signing out, see you guys.